I'm Michael Bennett from President and CEO of Altamira Gold Corp. We are a company with a large land position of almost 200,000 hectares in the gold and copper belt of the north of the state of Mato Grosso in central Brazil. We are presently drilling on 2 projects and have a third project with a 43101 gold resource.
Michael, good to see you. I haven't seen you for 9 months. Where in the world are you, sir?
Absolutely, Mike. Good to see you too. I'm actually in the north of Mato Grosso right now, in a city called Alta Floresta. Alta Floresta didn't exist 42 years ago. It was all jungle around here. And lo and behold, now there's 120,000 people living here. Big soya growing area, all the mod cons, asphalt roads, hydroelectric schemes all around us. So a very, very booming state in Brazil.
I'm sorry, what's driving that? The agricultural industry or mining industry as well?
Agriculture is huge here. So Mato Grosso has a GDP of about 12% a year. It's the motor. Agriculture is the motor, the new motor cash export for Brazil.
Wow. Okay. Well, good to see you again. Like I say, wanted to catch up with you because it's been a while, and I've been looking at the company. You kind of share price has been tracking sideways, but I know you've been busy, so I want to understand what you've done. More importantly, what you've learned from the drill work last year. So maybe can you kind of pick us up from, remind us where you were 9 months ago and what you've seen this year, 2021.
Okay, so 9 months ago, where were we? We were with a very small environmental drill permit on our project of Apiacas. We were about to get the drills turning. We had about 6 million in the bank, and we had we were aiming to drill about 5,000 meters in Apiacas. And we were pushing along the production side in one of our other projects called Cajueiro. On the back burner was Santa Helena, which we believed might possibly have porphyry connotations. And we didn't really think in June last year that we'd be pushing that road as fast as we have done. So what have we done in these 9 months? So we've taken Apiacas, we've started drilling, we drilled 2,000 meters of NQ core. So the core, that's kind of an important factor because we're looking at what I explained to you as leopard spotted rock, which is disseminated gold mineralization. And what we've learned over 9 months is this disseminated gold mineralization is associated with disseminated pyrite blobs, which are the leopard spots in this intrusive rock.
What does that mean? So, say that in English for me, so people looking in can go, oh, I can understand that.
So you can see a spotty rock. There are blobs of pyrite, and the gold sits in that pyrite. So if you took a small sample, and in this small sample of core, which is NQ core, which is only a small sample, you cut that in half, you probably only have a very small amount of these blobs of pyrite. And that affects the grade of the rock that you send to the laboratory. So what we have learned over the 9 months and the 2,000 meters that we drilled is that this spotted rock has gold in it, but we haven't yet learned if we are actually sampling in the way that we need to sample to get an accurate value of the amount of gold in that rock, which would in the future be mined. So we're going to start doing bulk samples and look and compare with our channel samples and our core samples and see if what we believe is that we need to take larger samples in the future.
Right. Okay. There seems to be a lot of uncertainty there. So again, I'm trying to understand, is this something that you need to be walking away from, or is there enough there that says, do you know what, I'm encouraged by X, Y, and Z, and if so, how do you go about, confirming those thoughts?
Well, so there's a couple of things that we can do to, first of all, improve our target areas for the next round of drilling. Certainly not going to walk away. So what have we found? We found areas of bleached rock, which are up to 150 meters in width. This bleached rock has disseminated pyrite throughout it, and that rock has gold in it. The gold values that we've seen to date are not the 1 gram material we were hoping to find 9 months ago. But we believe that we're doing two things. One, increasing the sample size, and two, homing in on better targets by doing an air mag survey of the area. We will be able to show that this really has got the prospectivity we were hoping for. And the other thing that we've done in the project, Apiacas huge district, Matt. So Mutung, the area we're drilling on, is about 800 hectares in size. And we have 80,000 hectares in the property package. So we've spent a lot of time, we've had 2 groups out for the last 9 months, taking thousands and thousands of soil samples. And we've done this for a reason. I talked at the beginning about gold and copper. So something has to be underpinning our mineralized systems there in Apiacas. And we believe there could well be a porphyry style mineralization in there as well. And so we have been soil sampling, analyzing for gold and analyzing for base metals. And we will shortly announce to the public what we've actually been finding there. So there's a lot of new things come to light in the last 9 months.
Okay, you haven't made the announcement yet, so we can't talk about it today, presumably.
No.
But you're encouraged by what you're seeing in the sense that it's
absolutely
right. Okay, that's interesting. So we come back to that kind of like I appreciate you laying out how you go about doing these things, because I think down at this end of the exploration space, it's probably the hardest in terms of being cash constrained, and it's early days, and you're looking for that big discovery, and there's you got your decision making is actually more important, I think, down at this level. So that's what intrigues me. With the cash position that you're at, you had $6 million when I spoke to you last 9 months ago. Where are we at with that today?
We've got 5.4 million right now.
Right.
So it sounds like we've got $600,000 in the last nine months, which is not the case at all. We have exercised a lot of warrants, and we've brought more cash into the company. And so we've still got, a pretty healthy kitty.
Right. Okay. So, but it does, given what you've learned in the last 9 months, you've got to get focused. So just be really clear with me. What does this next drill season look like for you? How long does it last? How many meters? What type of drilling? And what is it that you're after?
Okay, so I think in Apiacas and in Santa Helena, probably in the next month or so, we will stop the first phase of drilling. We've drilled about 5,000 meters by then. As I said previously, we weren't going to drill in Santa Helena, but serendipity came along. We hired 2 important porphyry consultants to look at our area, and they told us 2 important things. They said, look, what you can see on surface could be a porphyry, but you'll only ever find out if you drill it. And you've got to look at the fresh rock. So we, in November of last year, decided to put a rig in there. And we've drilled to date about 2,500 meters in the Santa Helena Project. We hired a second consultant to look at that core. And he looked at the core, and he believes that it is a porphyry system. We haven't hit the center of that porphyry system yet. And don't forget, we've got 10 kilometers by 10 kilometers right in the center of our area, which is a huge, huge area to plonk drill holes into. So he said, look, guys, there's 2 ways you can, first of all, you've shown that you have a porphyry style alteration and mineralization in the area. Now what you need to do is better target this. And so what he recommended we did was an air mag survey or a magnetic survey, which could have been a ground magnetic survey, and a not so detailed IP survey. So we looked at the area, 10 kilometers by 10, it's a huge area, a lot of small landowners in there. We ruled out ground mag. And so what we decided to do about 6 months ago was buy our own drone mag. It's a significant investment for the company. This has now arrived in Brazil, and we will be starting that work in April. So we're going to cover the whole of our area, 10 by 10, with detailed drone mag survey. And that will show us a number of things. It'll show us where the mag highs are. It'll show us where the mag lows are. It'll show us where the structural breaks are. And by looking at that in detail, we'll be able to design our second phase drill program for the second half of 2022, where I can see easily another 5 or more thousand meters of drilling in that area.
Is that going to be enough to? So I'm not quite sure what you've hit. When I saw the announcement, confirming the porphyry style mineralization, but there's no guarantees, right? So you can hit the edge of these things. You can, not find these things. But you've explained how you're going to go about it. But aren't you best served just getting really, really focused in on this? Because porphyries, people understand. I think in the market understand, they get excited about it when you start hitting sort of, decent grades, and you can say I've discovered the center of the porphyry, and they're not usually just come in ones, they come in groups. So people get a little bit excited about the scale of opportunity at that point. Shouldn't you be down at Santa Helena permanently with the capital available to you?
I think we're okay for the time being, Matt. We've thought about this in the past. Would we spin it out into a different company? Would we do a JV? You asked me this in previous interviews. And I actually said in the last interview, I wouldn't rule out a JV, and obviously I won't. If we get the right sort of partner involved to look for a porphyry with experience, then we would certainly consider that. We will take this on our own for the next few months. And I think the MAG and the IP will be really, really, really helpful to help us home in on the second phase of drilling. So we've already got areas that we could drill, but we don't want to plunk the holes in there because they're huge anomalies. We just don't want to plunk the holes in there without having a better handle of why we're spending those drill meters. And that's what we'll be doing over the next 2 or 3 months before second half of the year when we start drilling again.
Right. Okay. So you've got kind of 2 different types of drilling targets then in the portfolio. How do you, like? I know you said I will consider a JV if it was appropriate, someone with maybe porphyry experience or a different type of balance sheet which can exploit this, and that's fine. Have you got a kind of preference for what you'd rather be chasing rather than what you need to be chasing?
Well, don't forget in Santa Helena we've got 2 different animals in the zoo there.
That's what I think.
We've got the porphyry animal, which is what's plumbing the whole system. And there's 2 things that could happen or could have happened when we started drilling this. One, it could not have been a porphyry. We would have been looking at some other geological beast. Or it could have been a porphyry. And lo and behold, it's got all the ingredients. It's got the red rock. It's got the stockwork. It's got copper and molybdenum. It's got gold in there. We don't know what type of porphyry it is and where the center of it is yet, but we know we're in a porphyry area. Okay. So what are we going to do with that? What are we going to do? What if we've been wondering where we are in the system? So it's an old porphyry. It's not a porphyry from Chile. It's not one of these young porphyries. And in an old porphyries, you could be at the roots of the system because the whole thing could have been eroded away over the millions and millions of years. It's about 1.7 billion years old, right? So it could have been eroded away. But we believe, because of the second animal we're seeing in there, which are these high-grade veins which go across the area, and then what attracted us to the area right way back when in the first place, 10 years ago, were the things that the farmers were working on, the high-grade gold and copper veins. And so we've seen other things in there like silica caps, which suggest to us we're right at the top of the system. It's a very preserved porphyry. And we believe that as we go on and understand better and look at the results from the first 20 holes and look at the air mag and look at the IP, and look at the geochemistry we've done over the area, that we will have far more refined drill targets for deeper holes for the second phase.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by how you move this forward this year and how much money you allocate to what, and if indeed you kind of do say maybe put your hand up and say, well, we'll go after one form of gold, and you guys can go after something, whatever the polymetallic gives up. It may not be gold. Sorry, not polymetallic, the porphyry, which may be polymetallic. Because like I say, it's always important to get focused. It's always important to get focused because you want to be able to create value by, being able to say to the market, this is what we've got, and be clear about what that narrative is. And people get confused if you're pointing at too many different opportunities at this stage. You know what I mean? I mean, you've been here before. You know what you're doing, but it's that delicate dance, isn't it?
Well, obviously, in the geological world, in the exploration world, you'd like to get the first hole hitting something which tells you you're in the ore body. It doesn't usually work that way. If I look at Cajueiro, we drilled 13 holes and only one of them hit anything which was close to economic mineralization. And so, I think we have definitely scratched a very important system in Santa Helena. Now, I could carry on drilling. I could spend another 5,000 meters of drilling just where myself, the geologists, and the local miners have been working, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to waste 5,000 meters of drilling in areas which may or may not be the focus of this porphyry. So I want to get all my ducks in line. I want to use as many tools as possible. I've been very, very careful in using these two world porphyry experts, and both of them have said, do the geophysics before you drill anymore.
And when you come back, you'll have done the geophysics, and you'll be saying, right, I've done the geophysics. This is how the market should interpret it. I mean, you're going to have to read between the lines for us on that, aren't you? Because it's a kind of phase of exploration which most people discount. If they don't understand it, is the reason they discount it. Drilling is the only thing that really talks. But you're saying today it's very much an important part of how we determine where we go and how we are efficient with the drill bit.
Well, and the reason for that is very simple. In a recent porphyry, it's usually a body which is at depth, and it hasn't been disturbed by faulting and hasn't been broken up. Because this is an old regime, you've had a lot of breakage in this area, and you've had 1.7 billion years of faulting in there. And so we need to understand the faulting. There's been some mafic dikes come up through the area. We need to understand exactly what has happened. And the only tool that's going to help us in that respect is the air mag. And so, we've been a little bit outrageous, bought ourselves a drone mag, which, most juniors don't do. But I did it for a simple reason, Matt. I want to use the money wisely. And if we sourced it out, even to do a small part of the area of Santa Helena, it would have cost us more than buying the equipment. So we bought the machine. We've got, actually, today is the first day. We've got 8 members of our team doing a 3-day course to understand how you use this machine.
Who doesn't have boys' toys? I do.
It's a big boys' toy. Huh?
Look, Michael. Look, firstly, I just want to saw a few of those news releases. I wanted to catch up, see how you're getting on. I was intrigued by how you were going to move things forward last time out. I'm still intrigued by how this thing moves forward. Come and talk to us more regularly. 9 months is far too long. I'm keen to see what St. Helena gives up. Could be quite exciting for you. Thanks
very much, Matt. Always a pleasure to sit down and chat with you. And, hopefully one of these fine days we'll be back in Britain.
One of these fine days. Well, yeah, absolutely. Hope you are. And I hope things go well for you this year. We'll see you soon, okay?
Thanks very much, Matt. Yeah. Wonderful seeing you.